Sunless Skies is a gothic horror role-playing game launched on PC, Mac and Linux on January the 31st. It's about 18, 19 quid. It's made by Failbetter Games and it's part of the Fallen London universe. My name's Mike Williams and this is Jake Korkowski.
Yes, it is.
It's a nice game, isn't it?
It's about as nice as a gothic horror game in space could be.
Indeed,
You know.
indeed. It's nice in a horrifying kind of way. So Fallen London is kind of a universe created by this studio. Fallen London was originally a browser game, I guess.
Yeah.
And then Sunless Sea was the game that followed that. You kind of piloted a ship in a sort of huge underground lake, I guess.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
So Sunless Skies, and that was in 2015. So Sunless Skies is pretty much the sequel. That's come a few years later. And then the skies part isn't the air, and it isn't space really. It's sort of hellish cosmos.
So
the way they've described it, which is really nice, is sort of inspired by sci-fi before space travel.
That's right, yeah.
So,
Looking at how they tried to do research on how real life Victorians viewed space, which is crazy to think about because of course they knew that there was stars and stuff, but what were they like? In this it's been reimagined that stars are sentient beings, not giant balls of gas and that. So
it's not like hard sci-fi like Star Trek or anything like that.
No, in QI when someone says something there's that big buzzer, I feel like this is one of the buzzers. It's Lovecraft, because Sunless Seas was huge tentacly monsters from the depths, old ones. This is that, like, you know, what you just said then about how it's based in real research into what people imagined is very cool, because what that's doing is that's like folklore taking some real culture, some real history, and then imagining it in a really nice way, keeping that alive. And I already, that's a very cool thing to do, and I'm very much into that. Some people may have believed that what we were playing in this game was actually what space was like, and I love that, to know that, you know, that's what people actually thought. Yeah.
The universe is set in London of 1905, or the British Empire of 1905, where the cosmos and the stars and stuff, there's sort of, it's really difficult to explain without looking at the screen, but it's really a nice, it's a flat sort of 2D plane. You're steering a train / ship thing.
Yeah, like a steam train in space. I mean, luckily for you, this is a video, so
so you can see the moving pictures.
So crazy how technology works.
Yeah, it's amazing. What I love about it is the depth of the image. So you kind of look through multiple layers of stuff in the sort of background, and it's really, really nice. It's sort of a game that you have to use you said this, you have to use your imagination a lot. It's a lot of reading.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there is moment-to-moment gameplay. It's not a text-based adventure. You're controlling this ship, like you were saying, in real time. It's not like it's
got shooting.
It's got shooting. It's got moving, lads. What do you want? But basically, you've got your main story beats all come from text-based adventure kind of style. Very fighting fantasy, very NEC RPG ever. But rather than pepper that throughout lots of endless fireballs and elves, it's actually quite a nice little trek through space.
It's horrifying stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean horrifying. by nice I meant horrifying. Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
There's a lot of because of the sort of premise it's using. There's a lot of good surprises in it, and then a lot of the time you're going, oh, that's awful, and you sort of, you know, you hire people onto the boat and then onto the train, onto the flying space train, and you kind of, you know, you take them on as a first officer, and they just turn out to be really weird, creaturely sort of bastards.
They're serving themselves. They're not serving you. A lot of them have motives, and they're horrible little bastards.
And there's little the way it's written is actually fantastic. If you can remember some of the notes that you've read, and that's the thing, because it's sort of got these roguelike elements where you die, you can either autosave, use one autosave slot and go back to the last autosave, or you can re-roll as a new captain, create a new character.
Yeah. Who was kind of, which is something that we didn't see in Sunless Seas.
No.
And by the way, this game has been it was in early access for a bit now. But you know, when you re-roll, you will inherit like the chart of the old captain, so you get the map. You've got a bank that you put stuff into before you die. You can inherit that as well, so you are taking progress over, which is always good.
So if you think about it, you could set up an inheritance. If you know you're fucked, you could use the autosave, like empty your hold into the bank, go out and die, and then your new captain has got.
That's just a general life tip as well.
Yeah, well,
if you know you're fucked,
go out and die. So because it's got all that sort of thing, you do play through the story beats again, but what that means is when you notice that someone's oh, he's really pleased to be leaving this station. I wonder why. But you know why, because of later on you've played through the story,
exactly.
and then so you get to take in the story in a really interesting way. The core sort of thing that is built around, I guess, is the terror system, which kind of measures your nightmares, which is really nice. Like, that's the main, to me, it's like a metric in the game.
Yeah, fantastic. So just being out in the vast emptiness, well, not even emptiness, but the vast horrors of space. Yeah, because there's quite a lot of stuff in that old space. You're just being out in there will start to affect the crew members, and they'll start having nightmares, and sometimes they'll see abysmal horrors in the dark. Sometimes they'll get attacked by giant
you've got a little
creatures.
Bar in your bottom left, and then when those creatures are attacking you, the bar starts shooting up quite quickly. Or if you're doing scary things are happening in the game while you're steering the ship around this 2D plane, taking the story, and when you make decisions, it'll say, oh, you've gained 2 terror because you've done this, or you experienced this, or you saw this.
So it's kind of like a sort of sanity bar thing that you see in a lot of games. Eternal Darkness, Darkest Dungeon, other games with dark in there. Amnesia Dark Descent. Do you know what I mean? So this hasn't got the word dark in the title, but very much does employ that. Although you can reduce the terror quite easily from doing very believable rituals, like mourning the dead will sort of set your crew's mind at rest and stuff like that. It's a lot of lovely logic like that it really helps your roleplay, because you can imagine that if they were on there and they respect the dead, then it's going to give them less nightmares because they're sort of repenting for the things that they've done. So much of that, the writing is actually brilliant.
It is. It's very entertaining, at least, and it's like just having that fantasy role playing experience, like you said, like reading a fantasy book or whatever. You manage that, but rather than just have a sanity bar. There's gameplay-ish, gamey type of ways of reducing it and stuff. But you can reduce it with story decisions and making the right call. And there's a lot of dice roll type stuff where there's loads of different traits and stuff that you can have that are really weirdly, it's quite difficult to get a grip of to begin with, I think, anyway. Where it's like, you've got gossip. It's like, how have I got gossip? But then you spend the gossip. You want to get into a exclusive part of a city or something. You spend a bit of that gossip to whatever.
So you can use your stories and experiences as kind of like almost like a currency or like a key item.
So you have these gamey mechanics, but they're so like entrenched in the actual story. So it's quite difficult to just game the system. You've got to read and you've got to take it in and understand what you're doing.
I think that the story is absolutely paramount to the enjoyment of this. There's this TV show, The Terror, and that came out last year. I loved it. I've never seen anything like maritime horror, and so when I was playing the game, it was really making me think of that, and that really helped me get into this role play thing. I was looking after my quarter guys, and I was looking after them, and
there's parts in it where you just know that you've got a really long voyage ahead, and you're like, I'm way out in the sticks here, I need to expend my supplies and get back to here.
Like I've had to attack ships that I've got an alliance with out of pure desperation and do endless.
And so you start thinking like, shit, I'm stuck in the ice. I'm like the flipping, and you start, and it is like the Terror. If you don't know what that TV show is, you should fucking watch it. It's amazing. You're totally right, Jake. It does inspire that sense of like having to make really tough decisions and being alone out in the wilderness. It reminds me a lot of the Banner Saga in terms of pacing.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of the time where you're just looking at the space train, and you're just going from A to B, and you're listening to it, and you're taking in the music, and there's a lot of that kind of those moments in Banner Saga, and then you hit a port, and then there's story, reading a lot of text. It feels like a very similar experience. So if you like the Banner Saga and you like a bit of Lovecraft type stuff, this is worth a look. It's a really good game. This I really like it.
The strength lies in the writing ultimately. And at first, I was almost put off by the idea of sort of steampunky London. It can often
it's been done. It feels
it's been done, and I find it's been done
badly.
More often badly than well. But this is actually it's almost quite an interesting statement about colonialism and like the Victorians going, oh, we'll fucking take that. We're in space. Look at all the shit we can take. But you know what? Space says no, mate. And there's a lot in there, especially if you like these little small stories. The little bits that aren't ever really main part of a game, like in The Last of Us, when you find little notes, and sometimes that can stand out. This is full of moments like that. I don't know.
Absolutely riddled with it. Yeah, that's what the game is. I feel like
crates of food that I had on my ship randomly grew these like tentacle things out of them. It made my supplies last longer, but I knew that my crew were eating some sort of weird like tentacle thing, and I was thinking, is that going to be some like alien? And
again, that's straight out of the Terror of the TV show. What is my crew eating?
Exactly. I mean, it now means the supplies last twice as long, but what is this new growth? So there's so much intrigue and there's so much curiosity there, and if you are one of those people that likes to sort of figure out all the little details, and the devil is in the details in this game, but it does it very well.
It is a slow burn of a game. It takes a few hours for you to understand what it's doing. Huge scope for roleplay. You can approach it in a lot of different ways. We haven't talked about the character creation, which we'll do really quickly, I suppose.
It's basically a stats page, but it's done in quite an elegant way, and a way that's been very well written. Yeah, you can be someone who's a poet with his eye to the stars, but you can also just be a lowlife trying to get as much money by any means necessary.
And you choose your win condition. Do you want to be wealthy? Do you want to be famous? Do you want to search for the truth?
Yeah, exactly.
And you can make a nice little portrait for yourself.
Yeah, you certainly can, and there's a lot to it. There's also throughout the whole game a civil war going on, and you can pick sides or completely leave it. So there's a lot of depth to it, and it's impossible to get through in a short video. But hopefully this will give you sort of enough information that you'll know if it's for you or not.
And as big a endorsement as I can give it, really, is as with anything that I quite like these days, is can you just bring it to the Switch, please?
That's actually a formal request.
Thanks. Have you been playing Sunless Skies? Let us know what you thought about it down in the comments. Remember to like if you did enjoy the video, subscribe if you want to see more stuff. We haven't really done this kind of thing for a while, have we? Sort of like and subscribe and that.
Nah, but you can do it if
back
you want.
into the groove now, innit? Yeah, exactly. Do it if you want. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's a help.
It'd actually be really good if you did.
Yeah, please stick around. God, do it. Also, we got a Patreon. Check that out if you want to join us on game nights. Join the Discord. It'd be great to have you aboard.
Ooh, nice way to sign off there, because it's about trains.
Exactly.
Brilliant.
See you later.